Hey everybody, how you doing? Glad to be with you once again. In this video, I'm only going to show one album because it's an album that I was listening to yesterday and was really connecting with because I haven't spun it in its entirety in quite a while. When I do visit this album on vinyl, I usually just skip to my favorite songs, and there's a lot of favorite songs on this album, so I might as well just listen to it all the way in its entirety. But yesterday I decided just to sit with it and no distractions. I didn't have my phone with me. I wasn't looking at comic books or anything else like that to distract me. I just sat right in front of the speakers of my stereo system and put this album on and just threw myself into it, and what a ride it was. So that album is Clutching at Straws from Marillion, one of my favorite bands. One of my favorite bands to collect on vinyl, as far as all their studio albums and 12-inch singles and 7-inch singles. This is a fun band to collect, and I've always loved listening to this record. The funny thing about this was the last album to feature Fish, the lead singer of Marillion. He would leave the band after this album and tour. The group would carry on with a new singer, Steve Hogarth, but this was Fish's last album with the band. And what a great album to end on. This is just a mess. This was their masterpiece that they were kind of building up to. Of all the Fish albums from Marillion, from the first album to this album, they were getting consistently better. The production was getting better, the songwriting was getting better, and Fish's lyrics and his singing was getting a lot better. I mean, everything was going up. Everything was moving upwards and onwards, kind of thing. And there's the inside sleeve. Just lyrics, nothing particularly special. But anyway, and I always say this, and I love this custom label with the cocktail on it. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Anyway, a lot of my favorite songs from Marillion are on this album as well. So this album really hits me hard every time I listen to it. And when I first heard this record, I didn't know what to make of it. I really didn't. It hit me kind of funny, like what the hell am I listening to? So I wasn't sure if I liked it or not. But as time went on, of course I liked it. It's fucking great. So this is my old beat up copy that I hardly listen to anymore, because when I do want to hear this copy, I go for the deluxe box set edition that came out a few years ago. And this one has the album remastered, and it has one of their concerts from this tour featured on here. So this is always my go-to now for this, but we'll just stick with the music here. The music is great. The music is absolutely great. It's kind of a concept album. And I have to be honest with you, when I'm listening to this album, I'm not keyed into the story that runs throughout the record. I'm more or less the production and songwriting is what I'm about. And the drumming, because the drumming is really... Ian Mosley does some great drumming on this album. So I usually don't connect with the story all that much, because I'm interested in other things when it comes to listening to this. So I'm not really the biggest expert on the story of this record, other than they say it's about a has-been singer who's not very successful, not really breaking in the country he's in, but still doing gigs where he can get them. He's an alcoholic, he's a drug addict, he's a deadbeat father, and he's drinking himself into a depression. Basically crawling inside of a bottle and pretty much feeling sorry for himself and staying there. And so we get to and through the lyrics, you almost get into the guy's head when he's drinking or snorting cocaine and by himself in a dingy hotel room in Milwaukee on a rainy day. Very sad lyrics, very, very, very sad lyrics, but very well written lyrics too. If you really want to get into that side of it, I rarely do, to be honest with you, because I love the arrangements of the music more than I do the lyrical story. It starts off with three songs kind of medleyed, morphed into each other: Hotel Hobbies, Warm Wet Circles, and That Time of the Night, in parentheses, The Short Straw, which is a strong, strong start to this album. Those songs together, I always see them as all one big song. I don't separate, I don't see it as three songs. I see it as one big, long song to me. Because they all medley into each other, morph into each other, like I said. So it has the feel of one song. Lyrically, great. It puts you in a dark, lonely, sad place. And the music fills that color so well. With the keyboards, especially the intro, the keyboards has this marimba vibraphone type of sound to it. With Steve Rothery's amazing guitar work, lead guitar work, doing some bluesy licks where it almost sounds like his guitar is crying. I mean, you feel that sadness in the playing. And, you know, the bass and the drums also helping creating this dark and lonely, sad mood, but powerful though, very powerful. Very great start to this album, those three songs. Just absolutely love it. A lot of fans' favorites is the song White Russian. We're skipping ahead a little bit on side one. I love the song White Russian. It's a very heavy prog rhythm. It's kind of an off timing. If you really key into the drums and the bass, there's this proggy rhythm to it, as I always put it. It's a proggy rhythm. It's not your standard 4/4 rock beat. Lyrics, I don't really key into the lyrics that much, so I'm not really the biggest, like I said, I'm not a lyric guy. But I heard some people it refers to the Holocaust, the Holocaust, with the line Uzis on a street corner, and they reference swastikas in the lyrics. I don't really key into the lyrics because I find the groove and the arrangement so freaking interesting. The words just go right over my head because I'm not keying in on that. But it is a powerful song. A lot of dynamics, very dramatic sounding, very big and heavy. That's what I love about that song. I don't know if it's my favorite song on the album, but it's probably within the top 5 or 4 songs on here. It's really, really good. White Russian's a killer track. Of course, I'm gonna pause real quick. Normally, I would like play little snippets of the music as I'm talking about certain songs, but you know, copyright strikes, getting your video muted. I want to avoid all that, so listen to me talk about the album, and then go and grab your copy of it, or maybe just listen to it on YouTube, and then you'll hear what I'm talking about. That's why I'm not throwing in samples of the songs, even though they would be short. I want to avoid all that copyright issue crap that YouTube just loves to throw at you. Okay, side 2, very first song is the song Incommunicado. It's the fun song. It was the lead single, I think, for this album. I like the video where they're all dressed as hobos. All the members of the band. It's a fun video, and it's a very fun song. It's probably the only fun, lighthearted song on this whole record. Very, very good song. I love the keyboard work on it. Mark Kelly does some great keyboard work all throughout the whole album, especially that song Incommunicado. Very fast, busy, high-pitched, Pac-Man-y sounding keyboard sounds that you normally hear on prog rock songs. But he does it really well. I think he's the one that shines the most on that song Incommunicado. His keyboard playing is really good on it, and I always love the keyboard sound on it. We're gonna skip ahead again to the song Schlante Moth. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. Probably my favorite song on the album. It always has been. As far as arrangement, it really doesn't move around a lot in different moods and different sounds, different parts. It kind of stays in that steady, that steady, slow but steady rhythm set by the drums and the bass and the rhythm guitar Steve Rothery. He does a really slow rhythm picking of the notes, dun 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 dun, and and Mark Kelly's putting some nice sounds as far as lead on the keyboards. Nothing too busy, just floats right in with that rhythm, and it makes it sound really really good. And Fish's vocals on this, though at first he's singing not with a softer voice, but he's not really pushing the emotion as much. So somewhat of a softer vocal, but when it gets to the chorus and the end of the song, he really lets it out. I mean, really lets it go, and that range of emotion is carried over into the instrumentation because they start kind of steady in that rhythm, not very loud, not very heavy sounding, but steady rhythm, and then it just, the intensity just builds and builds. That's what makes it one of my favorite songs on here. I love the live version they did, I think, from the Lower Lee Festival, if I'm saying that right, back in 1987. Look it up on YouTube because they opened their concert with Schlante Moth. And the first time I saw Marillion in San Francisco, this is probably 10 years ago, maybe even longer, they played that song live when I saw him in San Francisco, and that moment was huge. Everybody in the audience was a hardcore Marillion fan, so it was an emotional night of Marillion music, live Marillion music. And I remember that song made people just lose their minds, and everyone's singing along and kind of doing this, and it was some of my best in-concert memories there. And I knew the song Schlante Moth pretty decently back then, but that night, after that night, it made me a huge fan of that song, Schlante Moth. Schlante Moth is like a toast. It's a toast to say, hey, to your good health. That's what Schlante Moth means. I had to look that up, actually. I never knew that. I looked it up a long time ago. All right, next up is the song Sugar Mice. Probably my second favorite song on the album. Ballad that just, again, like Schlante Moth, starts off real soft and sweet, and sad, of course, because the lyrics are not happy. Let's put it that way. If you feel depressed with your life, not Schlante Moth, but Sugar Mice. The lyrics of Sugar Mice will probably make you feel even worse. And if you can identify with the character, what he's singing about, yeah, those lyrics are going to make you feel even worse. But it's a great song. It's a great song. Ballady. It sounds like a ballad, but it really builds in the end. Great guitar solo by Steve Rothery. He really channels in his David Gilmour, Pink Floyd type of guitar solos, like a Comfortably Numb type of solo. Not saying he sounds exactly like that, but you get those fills, those fills. And yeah, it's just a great song. It's a great track. My favorite track, actually, not my favorite track, but second or third favorite track. I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing my train of thought here. Great song, absolutely great song. Again, look up the live version, 1987 Lower Lee Festival. Even better than the album version. And the song to wrap up the album and wrap up the story, The Last Straw, in parentheses, happy ending. A great song, a really great song. I love there's a female vocalist on here that they only use on 2 tracks, which was One Wet Circles, I believe, and then this one, The Last Straw. She sings the final lines of lyrics towards the end of the song, where she keeps saying, "I'm still drowning," and it sounds very good. She really lets out, lets it go, and lets it fly with the hardcore emotion and intensity of her voice. It's a nice ending to the song. A very cool proggy structure to it, and a nice closer to the album that I absolutely love. And I even love the cover too, even though the artist that designed their album cover, it wasn't very happy with it because pressure from the label to rush the artwork so they can have it out by a certain time. So he didn't get to sit with the artwork as long as he wanted to. So he almost felt like he let the band down with this cover art. But I quite like it. If you follow the sad mood of the character in these lyrics, very sad, depressed, alcoholic, sitting in a bar just feeling sorry for himself, surrounded by other people doing the same thing as they all crawl in that bottle together and just start drinking their lives away. Like I say, not a very happy album lyrically, but a very inspiring album musically. See, the problem with me is I can never figure out which I think is the top Marillion album. As far as Fish was the lead singer, I always tend to go more towards Misplaced Childhood, which was the album before this one. And this was always like a close second to me. But it depends on which album I listen to, right? I mean, I listened to this yesterday, and right now this is the best Marillion album as far as Fish during the Fish years, and now Misplaced Childhood becomes a close second. And then when I get in the mood to listen to Misplaced Childhood, then they'll switch. The positions will switch. They're pretty even as far as favorite albums from Marillion during the Fish years. Right now, that's number one because I listened to it yesterday. They're both very, very closely ranked. All right, that's gonna do it. If there anyone watching this video who's a big fan of Marillion and a big fan of that record, please leave me your comments. I would love to read them, and I will definitely answer back, comment back to you, because this album does mean a lot to me, and it was fun to do this video to just share my thoughts on it. Anyway, that's going to do it. Keep the record spinning, everybody, and I'll see you at the next one. Later.